Gofor is a software application that it's designed for electrical contractors to make the material logistics process a little less painful, from the field to the office to the distributor and then kind of back to the accounting system.
Okay, so I'm out there in the field and I'm doing estimating, say, so I want to put out a quote. Does that help me?
It absolutely would help you. It would increase your accuracy. It would increase the time it takes to make the order and submit it. And then on the distribution side, it would be a lot faster and more accurate for them to quote and pull and deliver.
So tell me a little bit how you got involved in this and what made you begin the process of putting together software like this. I mean, this is not something that just everybody's going to go out and say, hey, I'm just going to, build some software for my trade, right?
Yeah, no, I did have to learn quite a bit. I didn't know anything about programming when I started. So, it was an idea, and I looked around for weeks for a solution, and there was no solution. So the only option was to build it myself.
How did you get people like Rich here to embrace the idea and take a chance? Because I think anybody who starts something new, that's one of the big things is, how do we go about doing this, and how do I find people that will trust me enough to try it out?
I think it's everybody wants their businesses to do well, and if you're not looking for other opportunities to improve the way that you do business, then you're not really getting anywhere else. You're not really moving forward.
Okay. Rich, I want to bring you into the conversation here. Rich is with Wedco. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you developed this relationship with Christopher.
Yeah, I've been with Wedco as a Northern Nevada-based electrical wholesale distributor, so we're a supply house for electrical contractors, utilities, mines. So we've dealt with the contractor that Chris works for. I've had a personal relationship with probably 20 years with him, and back when I was in sales, and I've kind of held a lot of different positions in the company and currently president. So although I don't interact with Chris on a daily basis anymore, he talked to one of our salespeople and got in touch with myself and was telling me a little bit about the project and really caught my attention. And so I went down and met with Chris, and we've been meeting for probably a year now, maybe close to.
Something like that.
Talking about the project, and exactly what Chris touched on a moment ago is for us on the supply side, where we're selling a lot of commodity type products. We're selling the same type of products day in, day out to contractors, and although the job name may change, the delivery address changes, it's the same product every single week. And for us now, we're just trying to find more efficient, more accurate ways to get those products delivered and entered into our system. As our business has grown, we have to keep adding bodies to do data input, and I'd rather have them working on other things to better service the contractor than typing up EMT and fittings every single day that they're doing the job. So it really caught my interest, and it kind of has taken off from there.
Okay, and you started at your company on kind of a ground floor thing, and moved to being.
I did.
Yeah.
I started at an entry level position and had a lot of great opportunities, and it's a great company, an employee owned company that.
Do you think that made a difference to you in taking a chance because of the fact that you were actually in the trenches as opposed to somebody who maybe didn't have that experience? Any thoughts on that?
I think so. I think looking back, it certainly would have made my job much easier. It's really challenging to take orders over the phone from a guy that's standing out at a construction site, and you hear backup alarms on trucks, and you're trying to take down sometimes some industry slang that's used for words for materials, and it certainly would have helped. And but I think at all levels. I think whether it's at the sales level or where I sit now at an executive level, to me it looks as kind of a cost-saving measure for us. So.
And to your credit, Chris, you had to find somebody that had the same kind of vision that you have in order to kind of get this process going.
Yeah, I mean, I think every electrical contractor has the same issue. So I think the easy part. It's just building the product and getting it out there is the challenge.
Okay, and we're going to learn some more about what exactly this does, how it would help the person that's in that industry. And but right now, of course, we got to pay the bills. We're going to take a break and hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back. Don't go away. If you're on Facebook, we're going to be live through the break.
It's your worldwide invite to Barbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen. Perfection in tri-tip, rib tips, and brisket. Rotisserie.
Well, I kind of monopolized all of that.
We're supposed to leave this on?
Yeah, best if you do. We're live on Facebook. I haven't had a chance really to jump in. Normally I have co-hosts that help with all this stuff, but so I'm kind of doing a little bit of everything.
You know, Chris, one of the things that I'm interested in is that how long have you been in the electrical contracting business?
I started in the trade in 2002.
Did I disconnect him?
No, I'm going to borrow.
Oh.
And then, so how long were you in the business before you came up with this
Oh, okay.
idea for this program?
Oh, okay.
13 years?
Really? So, I mean, there's just a wealth of experience that went in to when you got there. And you had said something that I thought was really pretty interesting that I think most people go through. They go, this is, because you're looking at it, you say, there's a problem here. Somebody's got to, I mean, of all the people out there, somebody has to have a solution for this. You scratch your head, and lo and behold, there isn't. And so that, is the origin of you starting this business. And I think that's so interesting. So, okay, so we're that's so 15. So from 2015, you've actually had this program?
Yeah, I mean, it took me a couple years to become, dare I say, a formidable programmer. But a lot of the time is spent on R&D, understanding the problem, because you can't solve the problem unless you know exactly, where it hurts. So you got to look at it from multiple aspects, because it benefits multiple people. It benefits the people in the field from their perspective, and then it benefits the people in the office because they're the ones reading the material lists, and then it benefits the distributor because they don't have to filter through a bunch of nonsense. Like Rich said, taking orders over the phone is challenging sometimes. I would imagine I've submitted thousands of orders over the phone. I've turned in orders on cardboard with a Sharpie, in Word docs, in Excel sheets. There's so many different ways. Sometimes they come through as text messages. Sometimes they come through in the body of an email, and none of them are ever consistent. So,
I think I'd add to it. In the industry, the electrical industry has been a little bit behind embracing technology, and one of the big things I think is on my side, supply side, everybody's been caught up in.
Okay.
To be continued.
There you go.
When we start.
Welcome back. You're listening to What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen, and I'm your host, and this is presented to you by LaRue Press. And we are a publisher, printer, and business center, and look forward to working with you on any of your projects, whether you're a writer or business. We help you brand your business. We help you in whatever way determined by what your goals are. So Chris, in fact, is a sample of that. And welcome, Doug Ashby. You're my co-host for today. Glad to see you. and he hasn't had much time to chime in. We're going to just keep jumping in here. But Chris is a great example of the way that LaRue oftentimes can work with people in a different way where you might not think we have anything in common. And because of our show, we talk to businesses, we talk to authors, we talk to just about anybody who has a real story. And when Chris approached me, I really did appreciate the fact that he is, the name of your company is Gofor, and my headline today was Go For It, because, and then having worked in the trades myself many hundreds of years ago, I know what a gopher is, and that was something that was on with some of your marketing material was a gopher. And so all those different acronyms all make sense to me. And I just appreciated the fact that you really do have a story to tell. So let's talk a little bit about what the software that you created does. It's project management software, correct? Is that kind of how you would describe it to the average person that's not in the trade?
Yes.
Okay.
In short.
In short, yeah. Well, just so you can kind of identify, because people haven't been able to really, look at all your material. So I want to kind of give them a sense of what this does for them and what this does for your distributors and the other folks that are out there. So can you give a little bit of kind of a not a too technical, but kind of, a walkthrough of how this would help somebody out there?
Yeah, I kind of want to get back to what Rich was saying, so let's prelude.
When we're on the break?
Yeah, when we're on the break, so I'll talk about. So what Gofor does is it allows the electricians who are in the field to easily and quickly create very accurate material orders that can be processed quite seamlessly and quoted automatically. So, a lot less time
Can you
is.
do that for the publishing industry too?
Well, so
Can we have you come and help us do that?
How do they do that? Can they do that on their cell phone? Do they go over to their car with?
Yeah, so we've got an Android application, an iOS application, and the web app should be deployed within the next few weeks, hopefully.
Okay.
So they can go directly to you. I mean, they can see a need right there, and within minutes they can get it to you and have it processed.
Yeah, I mean, essentially what it is a large database of material that has images, UPCs, data sheets, things of that nature. So you can create submittals, you can create material orders. There's multiple different benefits to having that material database.
How do you get the folks, because one of the things that we were talking about at the break was the fact that Rich said that the industry was a little bit slow getting into the technology world. So how do you grab these guys and say, hey, I mean, I imagine most of them are using phones. They're using that technology. But this is something beyond that, and now they're going to have to process their orders that they're used to. What did you say? You used like a cardboard and
and a Sharpie. I mean, I've done things to get material that.
Right. So how do they transfer from the cardboard and the Sharpie to the phones or the computers or whatever? How do you get them there? And how do you get the distributors there? I mean, isn't that kind of what your challenge is at this point?
Yeah, you just put it in front of them, and most electricians that I talk to, they think it's great because it's see and touch. That's it. You look at it, you touch it.
So that's it. It's the ease
and
of use.
We all use phones.
Right.
Everybody has phones. Everybody has devices now, and the younger generation are coming into the trade now, so they're even more technologically savvy.
But you still have to convince the older ones that have all the money,
To pay for
right?
Yeah.
Yes. I agree with you, though.
So from the field to the office to the supplier and back to accounting software, and I think that's what Rich was talking about is the electrical industry particularly is very slow with adopting technology. And
I would say what I was going to add during the break was I think that there's been a big push on the supplier side to have websites with web stores, and they're presenting that to the contractor about, look, you don't have to call us, you can just go on our website. Well, that's done. There's a place for that, but when you're talking big business like Chris and my company that do a lot of business together, that's not the solution. That might take some of the burden off us, but they still have to enter everything into our format, our store, and then they have to go back into their own operating systems, enter those purchase orders. So what we're looking at is there's still a web store place for other business, but this is really business to businesses integrating the systems together so we can take it beyond and send them nightly reports with confirmations and phase coding and everything that they want to take this product to, without just saying, here's a platform we want you to use. It's their system, our system, getting them talking together, and now it's a win-win for both. We're both saving money and having more accuracy.
How much time does it save from the inception of the order to getting it actually to the field versus the way it used to be?
I would say so far from what we're seeing, it's not necessarily getting it that much quicker, because they're ordering material and they want it there the next morning. We're finding a way to get that done regardless. It's saving our salesperson time from entering, because now we can take that data in the format that he's sending it and download it right into our ERP system and create an order out of it. So we're picking up, essentially you could, if you wanted something right away, it's saving data entry from our sales staff. And
That's
so they
pretty
can be
big.
It is.
Yeah,
it's
that's
very,
big.
and
Yeah.
more importantly, the
And
accuracy.
that's how you sell them.
That's I think what Chris is getting to is how many times that we've misheard a quantity or a size or something in the field. We show up the next day, it's the wrong part, and now they have to bring it back, and now we have to refill a second order and send another driver back out. I think that's the accuracy. Speed of ordering and the accuracy is on both sides is where the true savings is. And those are a lot of hidden costs that are hard to define your business, but in our industry, we all know that we haven't recognized them. Just we haven't seen anybody do anything about it.
Yeah.
From the time that you had this idea, and you did your homework to look out there and say, nobody's doing this, so I'm going to do it. How much time was spent on research versus actually doing what you were doing? Or did you feel like you already had all that kind of behind you?
It was rolling around in my head, but putting it all on paper and understanding how all the gears are going to work together was, I think, the hard part, because there's so many different aspects. It's not just, because it started out as just, I want to make a list. Well, you have a project. That project has an address. It has a phone number. The person that ordered has a phone number, an email address. And then, you've got lists, you've got purchase orders, you've got, and then I can go into all kinds of other things, but
Right.
it just evolved into something much bigger than I expected.
Did you actually do the computer programming yourself? I mean,
Yes.
so.
Wow,
went-
so you had a couple of learning
yeah.
curves.
Yes, there was a large learning
Oh
curve.
yeah. Oh, I think
Wow.
that's awesome. Yeah,
That's incredible. That's
Yeah.
really determination. I think that should convince somebody that's looking at your product that they should look at you as well.
Well, that just shows that you can do it, huh?
Yeah,
And
it does.
it certainly, your name is certainly fit, and just go for it. I'm going to
Yeah.
do it.
Well,
It's
so
not
when
having self-doubt. I mean,
when you're an apprentice or when you're starting out in the field, you're a gopher.
Yeah,
Right,
That's
so-
right.
yeah.
Go for this, go for that.
Right.
But back to what Rich was saying, when material shows up and it's not the right material, it's so frustrating, because it stops
Well, and
work.
costly too.
It's costly because your people get frustrated. You don't have the right parts to install. Maybe you're on a schedule now. Maybe your work is delayed. It costs Rich the restocking,
Right.
the gas, the time, all that stuff.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you and learn more about what you have and how to go about, building this themselves or working with you, is it ready to go now? Are you ready to do that? And can they contact you?
We're doing some beta testing right now with a couple of our preferred, I would say preferred customers, but our partners.
Right.
People that have really put in the time to help us. But you can reach me at cparis@goferincorporated.com if you're interested in learning a little bit more about the product, or maybe even possibly being a part of the beta test. The more, the merrier.
Okay, that's perfect. Is there a website where they can learn more about it or not yet?
There is a website. It's not much of a website. We're actually working on the full web app right now. But if you go to www.goferincorporated.com, my contact information is also
On
in there.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's Gofor. It's Gofor, so that you know not to do the GOPHER or GOFER, right?
Yeah, no,
I mean, all of those are.
not the rodent.
That's right, not the rodent. We're not going there. You know, I told you guys that this goes fast, and it went fast.
quick.
Yeah, it did.
Yes. So I have to wrap it, but I do appreciate you being here and taking the time to come down to the studio and chat about this. And as time goes on, please continue to share the story with us and let us know how it progresses.
Okay, yeah,
All right?
absolutely.
Okay, I'll be dogging you next time instead of you dogging me, right?
Well, you know, when we make some progress, we're doing the NECA thing this year in September. So, you know, hopefully by next year we'll have some major changes.
Awesome. I'd love to hear about them. Love to have you come back on and tell us how things are going. All right?
Thanks for having us.
Thank you
Yeah,
both.
thank you.
Christopher Paris with Gofor Incorporated and Rich Stoltz with Wedco Inc. So look them up. Check out what they're doing. We are What's the Story, and we're going to be right back. There you go.
That was fast.
Yeah.
I warned you. You were fine. So I go and I print out the show, right? Because I like to have notes in case my computer fails or whatever. I must have left them on my table at the house.
9 times out of 10.
I know. Can you believe it? And I mark them
You have
up.
an aversion to
Well,
bringing it with you.
I know I have them all marked up because, like, when I'm on, I want to make sure I.
And it's not just this show, Doug. She
Oh.
does it too. It's Basil's show too.
It's true. You know, Basil's going to be here tomorrow.
He's going to be in studio tomorrow. Yeah,
He
he
is.
flies in today, doesn't he?
No.
Or tomorrow morning.
He flies in tomorrow at 2:10. Do you think he's going to make it?
Yeah, he'll make it.
I have to pick him up. So we have to both make it. It'll be fun, right? Running in. And if they don't fix my car, he'll have to bring his baggage in with him because my car won't be able to be locked. Oh, what fun.
Should we send since we're off the air right now, but
We're-
I'm sure
No,
Ed,
people
We're
can
on
still hear you.
Facebook.
Ed is listening.
Oh,
or he better
he
be,
might be.
huh?
No.
Yeah.
You know, Ed is probably having dinner right now.
Here we go.
Where is he?
Ohio.
Oh, mio. Oh, mio. Oh, Cleveland, Ohio. Where did that line come from? An
I don't
episode
know.
of MASH.
Is it really? Oh, I do recognize that. You're right. It's true.
As someone who watched all
Every
200
one.
and some
Yep.
odd episodes.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Well, because I worked at the TV station. We aired it 4 times a day. I'm getting some mic rub from somewhere.
I think it's me. I really do.
Doug, move around a little. No? Jan? No?
Is it me? No? I don't know. I thought it was me. Oh. No, that's him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back. And that music signals that it is time for the Book Blitz. And today you got Doug and me to share that. We don't have any Reno Gal says today, so because April has taken a little sabbatical for the day. What can I say?
Yeah, how long can a sabbatical be?
I don't know. I guess it's as long as you want it to
yeah,
be.
doesn't it make the word sabbatical seems like it should be really long, huh?
It should be, huh?
Well,
But I think
yeah.
it's only going to be a week.
Oh, good, good.
That's long enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, we want her to come back.
yeah, she's fun to have around.
She is. We miss her.
Fun to pick on.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Oh, I was going to say that, and I thought, nah, let's not do that. Let's not go
Well,
there.
she expects it from me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's true. It's true. But I want to remind you to visit Kempler Design at kemplerdesign.com and pick up a copy of April's book, either locally or at the Nevada Marketplace. Well, of course, you can always get it at LaRue Press and online. So, get a look at that Altered Eye.
Yeah.
And of course, Doug, we can push yours too, because we've got yours available as well.
Oh,
Heroes
thank
and
you.
Giants
Yeah,
by
Heroes
Doug
and
Ashby.
Giants. Thank you.
Yeah, and you're a giant today. You're standing up today. That's
I don't know. I was, we talked a little bit about where we're going with the show, and so I had some notes here, and I stood up and started looking at them, and I thought, I could just read that. Well,
there you go.
yes, well, I'll show Jan this or put it up. I made it in bigger.
Good for you. See, 14-point works. Yeah, and my notes are there too, except they're at my house. In 14-point. So my dog can look.
I guess the older you get, the bigger it has to be. Well, the good thing is it's still clear. It's not
Yes,
fuzzy.
it's always
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
All right, so our Book Blitz, if you've never listened to us before or if you don't remember, our Book Blitz is supposed to be a quick lightning round of books that we've chosen for you folks to be able to read if you have the same inclinations we do. So that's what it's all about, and we'll do our best, but we probably won't be fast. How's that?
Actually,
Maybe not blitzing today.
Yeah, last week or a couple of weeks ago, we were
We were
pretty
very,
quick,
yeah. Well, when there's four of us here too, you
Yeah.
really have to go quicker.
Yeah, that
With
and
just the
everybody's
two
going
of
like
us,
this,
yeah, with just the two of us, it's like, we get to,
Yeah.
we get to do whatever we feel like,
Yeah.
right? So I brought a couple in case we have time, but you go right ahead and start us off.
Well, you know what? This I try to the books I recommend ones that I've read, and so far I've pretty much stuck to that. And this one goes back. It was published in May of 2015. It's called A Man Called Ov. And one of the things
I like the title.
yeah, well, and it's just before I get to that, one of the things that I look for is on Amazon how many reviews that they had, and he's up to 15,000,
Oh my.
and he has nothing.
My kingdom for
I
15,000
know.
reviews on any book, right?
And they're all four checkers or average 4.5 checkers, so that's pretty darn good. New York Times recommended it, and it's Ov is he's a curmudgeon, the kind of man who points at people he dislikes as though they were burglars caught outside his bedroom window. He says he has staunch principles, strict routines, and a short fuse. People call him the bitter neighbor from hell.
Oh.
It seems everybody has one of those.
Yeah,
But now just kind of going
probably
over to
true.
the book reviews, the one that caught my eye, and the reason I thought I would go back to this, it says, even the most serious readers of fiction needs light relief. And for that afternoon when you want charm, this is the perfect book, because you see this Ov transform when a new family moves in next door. And of course, the first thing that they do is they're backing in a trailer into their yard, the U-Haul trailer that's bringing their
Right,
stuff.
of course.
And they run over all his plants.
Right.
So that's a
Great.
well, through
Well, if you weren't an awful neighbor, you're probably going to start right there.
so through the book, you see him transform into somebody that you actually love. And I really enjoyed the book so much. So if I didn't have my reading list pretty much booked up for the next couple months, I think I'd go back and read it again, because it is that enjoyable. And it's called I should tell you who it's Frederick Backman, who was the author. And like I say, he was it was published in by I didn't write it down who was
Oh,
published
that's all
by.
right.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
all right.
but
Just a
anyway,
publisher.
Yeah. Yeah. Go on there and look. A Man Called Off. I guarantee you will like it because
Probably one of those big five ones
yeah,
anyway.
that's
You know.
15,000 other people did. So I don't think we can go wrong.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, I have to admit that I cannot say that I do the same as Doug. I do not always read the books that I recommend, but I feel like I get a pretty good grasp from my experiences with interviewing authors and chatting with them and getting to know them a bit about what kind of book they might write. And we recently had Gary Grossman on our show, and also had the opportunity to have him on A Pinch of Basil, which is the show that I co-host on Tuesdays. And so, really interesting guy. And he has written a series, and so I wanted to share this one, Executive Force, and I really wanted to start it before I came on the show, but, you know, key fobs and all sorts of crazy things happen to you.
And I suppose you want to sleep too.
Oh, well, occasionally. And we're getting ready for Art Town, so we've been working a lot on the weekends as well. So what can I tell you? Lots of stuff going on. But this is the fourth standalone thriller in the Executive series, so there are 3 others besides this one. And it finds Secret Service agent Scott Rourke on a serial assassin's trail, one that leads to a clandestine North Korean plot and a nuclear standoff. So sounds pretty current as far as, you know, the players in this. Instability and fear seize the nation. Local and national political figures are systematically assassinated. Well, that's not happening, I hope. A growing secessionist movement stirs up anti-government fervor. The combination creates nationwide unrest and a lack of confidence in leadership. With the clock ticking toward a monumental constitutional crisis, President Morgan Taylor assigned Secret Service agent Scott Rourke to investigate the assassinations. And meanwhile, Rourke's fiancée and assistant to the U.S. Supreme Court Chief Justice is tasked with researching the separatists. So lots of things going on in this book. And like I say, after talking to Gary Grossman, who's also a producer and a film and TV historian, I think he's got a good background to write a book like this. And so I just thought it sounded, I like the title, I like, you know, the storyline. So if you like it too, Executive Force, the Executive series by Gary Grossman is my pick for today.
Oh, perfect.
All right. Did you have another? Or?
Well, you know, yes and no.
Of course you do.
Yes and no. How hard-hitting is that? I'm studying to be a politician.
You're in,
You know,
you're in
it's,
company,
Yeah.
blank company.
You know, I really hadn't planned on it, but about, I don't know, a month ago, I recommended The Bastard by John Jakes. And one of the things, it's a romance novel. It starts with the Revolutionary War. And the thing that I've liked about it, number one, it's not just one book, it's a series of 6. And I've just finished the 4th in the series. And each one of them goes to another person in the Kent family, and it goes from generation to generation. And I said this before, that I must have led a sheltered life, but I've never really read romance novels, and I am really,
No, you haven't lived a sheltered life.
I am.
I can tell you lots of people that have not read romance novels.
But you know, I am really enjoying this, and it's all factual, it's all history based, and so you're learning a lot. So each book you learn, there's a good story, it carries you through the Revolution, you know, the writing of the Constitution, and, you know, George Washington and the next 5 presidents, and it's just so interesting that, you know, I'd have to recommend it again because I'm enjoying it that much.
Wow, listen to that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Well, I'm going to make one more quick recommendation. We only have a little over a minute left, but it's called One Little Secret, and I have not read this one. It's Kate Holman, best-selling author of Lies She Told. I believe we have already interviewed her once, and I hope I'm not speaking out of school. I think we really have. But One Little Secret, love the cover. A chilling story about the lengths to which people will go to protect themselves, even from their own secrets. Kate Holohan keeps you guessing and turning the pages right to the end. That's from Patrick Lee, New York Times bestselling author of the Sam, Dryden, and Travis Chase trilogies. A thriller I couldn't put down, psychological thriller. I'm a sucker for psychological thrillers. So, if you are too, One Little Secret, a novel by Kate Holohan. If I'm saying your name wrong, Kate, I apologize. And we will be having her on. I don't have her scheduled yet, but I just got the book, and so I wanted to put it out there. I don't even know if it's been released yet, truthfully. Let's see if I can find that real quickly. No, of course not. Why would I be able to find that quickly? Sometimes we get them early, and so I just don't know if this one... it has been released already. So, yeah. So we'll have her on and we'll chat about that.
Perfect.
Whatever.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, hey, look at that. Time's up. Hey, if you're on Facebook, stay with us. We're still going to be here. We hope you will too. Otherwise, we'll be back in just a couple minutes after a word from our sponsors. You're listening to What's the Story?
This program's starting for me to represent life. Jan, when you're having fun, it just zips
It flies by,
oh,
doesn't it?
Goodness.
I'm telling you, when I was putting the show together, I was like, well, with two of us, it's always different. When you have four, I mean, it's
Sure,
just
yeah.
really,
Yeah.
it goes because there's so much going on. And I haven't had to write a whole show myself for a while because of
Yeah.
all you guys participating, which is awesome. But today, it still wasn't bad. I was like, oh, no big deal. Here we go. Doug's here. We'll just chat.
Yeah.
Who needs to write?
When I
Doug
wrote
and I
you
can
back,
talk.
when I wrote you back this morning, I said, you and I are of such few words,
Yes,
right?
that's right. Yes.
Hard to pull
People
us out
of
of
few words.
Hard to pull us out of our shell.
That's right. That's right. So we got a few people that look like they've joined. I don't know if they're still with us or not. Sorry, I haven't been paying too much attention to the Facebook here. It's been a busy, right? Let's see. All right. So if you have any questions for us or want to do any comments, be sure to just jump in there on Facebook. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have. And Doug might talk a little bit later. You got any news about any fire stuff going on?
No, really.
Not really?
It
Good.
was.
That's always good.
One of the things that we could discuss is, we've got the fire season coming up.
We do.
And what people can do to prepare.
Okay.
And why you prepare.
Okay.
What the what the fire department does
Sure.
when they have a fire, because most people see the fire department, they roar up with red light and siren, a bunch of guys jump off. That's all they know.
That's all they know.
So, yeah.
They don't know anything
In
else.
fact, the guys that jump off, that's all they know too.
That's funny.
Yeah. On the way here, Debbie and I, one of the things for a battalion chief, you drive around in your own car, red light, siren,
Right.
and the cars really look cool. But one of the well, it's every kid's dream. But one of the things that you never want to do is show up first.
Oh,
Because what can you do? I mean,
true.
you don't have any water, you don't have any hose, you don't have any people.
it's
true.
That would be awful, wouldn't it?
Well, we just saw that demonstrated on the way here. This car over to the side of the road is blazing away, and this battalion chief pulls up.
Oh,
And all he could do was set out cones for traffic.
that's
I thought
funny.
nobody ever taught him that lesson about not showing up first.
He learned it just then.
The hard way.
It's true. It's very true. Oh, my goodness. Welcome back. You're listening to What's the Story? I am Janice Hermsen, here with my awesome co-host, Doug
Thank you.
Ashby.
Thank you.
Doug is the author of Heroes and Giants, and was a battalion chief for quite a while in Southern California and the
Yes.
Los
Yeah.
Angeles area. So absolutely an expert in that area.
Remember what our definition of an expert?
I don't remember what we said. No, I don't.
That's a drip under pressure.
That's true.
So yeah,
Something like that.
I'm an expert.
That's right. All right. Well, this segment, oftentimes we have people come on and we chat with authors and different folks. Today, I found this, and this is kind of for Brian in South Carolina, this segment, because I found this commemoration that was being done on Saturday, and it was for the Battle of Secessionville in South Carolina. And I thought, what the heck is the Battle of Secessionville? I mean, I'm not real big on history, but some of those kinds of things, you kind of remember that stuff even when you were in school, oh, that was, well, especially like Secessionville, right? Because that's different, right? Well, that took place on June 16th of 1862. It was a great Confederate victory and one of the most important battles of the war between the states, because if the Confederates had lost, the way would have been clear for the conquest of Charleston and a quick end to the war. Well, that didn't happen, and it began with about 7,000 Federals against 500 Confederates.
Wow.
So that's big that they
Yeah.
would have won that. So I just thought that I wanted to mention it, and I'm going to ask Brian if he ever goes to any of those types of things, because they have a number of different. South Carolina is, I equated a little bit, or excuse me, Charleston, I equate a little bit to Reno, because Reno always has something going on, and it's pretty unique to the area. I mean, I know all areas have certain things, but we seem to always have something, winter, summer. There's so many things going on. If you're planning an event, you really have to check the calendar. I was invited by someone to do an event in Virginia City. She wants to have authors come up there and do some signings in Virginia City. And, so we're going to coordinate something with that. I said, sure. When do you want to do it? She said, well, it looks like it either has to be July or October. Because everybody was busy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's just how busy it is. We can't do July. We're doing our town. So it turned out, there you go. It's October.
When do they have the camel races up there?
I don't remember when that is. I know Eddie Floyd is often involved in all of that. And
How many people can say that?
I know.
They squeezed me in right after the camel race.
I know. That's what I mean. And they're unique
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Virginia City. They're unique to Reno, unique to Incline and Lake Tahoe. I mean, I love that about certain cities. And like I say, every city has something, but certain city, where I came from in Southern California, we didn't have super unique stuff that happened. I mean, we had a couple of things,
You
but
know-
not the whole city, really embraces these things. We got the rib cook-off and the,
Oh, yeah.
the balloon races, and I guess they're not doing
Air-
that,
air-
are they? Yeah, I don't know.
The air race too.
Yeah, the air race, yes.
All
those
right along
things.
those lines, I was talking to my older boy. He's getting ready to retire down in Orange County, and he wants to leave California like so many people. And with that being said, I just spent a time down there, and I feel like a traitor. I will never badmouth Southern California or California. You hear so much bad news about California. I just spent from Orange County clear up to the Oregon border and everything in between. And I'm telling you, it's still a beautiful state.
It is.
It's
It really
absolutely
is.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It is a beautiful state. It's unfortunate that it gets a bad rap
Yes.
all
yeah.
the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it probably deserves it some of the time, like all
Yeah.
cities
Yeah,
and
exactly.
states and
Well,
whatever.
My boy, and I said, well, why don't you move up to Reno here? He says, I don't want to live in the desert, Dad. Well, I wasn't quick enough, but I should have told him. I said, Colton, you do know Southern California is a desert.
Exactly. I was going to say that, but
Well, I did. So what I did do is I went back and looked from June through October at the difference in temperatures between us in Reno and them in Southern California. there's only about a 3 or 4 degree temperature
Now,
difference.
every Nevadan in Reno is cursing you
That's probably true. Yeah,
for telling them to
let
come
our
here.
secret out. Yeah.
Right?
Isn't that the truth?
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. We were
Wow.
just talking about how we don't want it to change more. That's why we came here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but then that, of course, you start searching, and Doug, because when I invite you on the show, I know you do a lot of homework before you come on,
Yeah.
and so you start searching, and so I found that the thing about Charleston. Well, then what pops up? But slavery was not the cause of the war between the states. The irrefutable argument. It's a book that's been published, and it was as a result of being on the site they were pushing this book. So authors out there, pay attention, because this is how you do it. You know, when somebody has an event and your book relates, pop in there with it. Who knows if he was involved in the event or whatever, but they were pushing his book and they were saying, this is one of their best sellers. So I did a little bit, I looked at it a little bit. It's by Gene Kaiser Jr. He is a professor. He's lived in Charleston his whole life, so probably has done a lot of study on the history there. It says, this book proves beyond the shadow of a doubt that the North did not go to war to free the slaves or end slavery. The North went to war because it faced economic annihilation and a Southern competitor that controlled the most demanded commodity on earth, cotton.
Yeah.
So the North's economy was based mostly on manufacturing for the South and shipping Southern cotton around the world. Cotton alone was 60% of U.S. exports in 1860. So, I was not a huge fan of history when I was, in school. And so, but now it's so interesting to learn these facts, right? We should all go to school when we're old.
Well, you heard the old adage about, talking to your kids or your grandkids, and they say, well, I enjoyed, history when I was, when I was in high school or college or whatever. And of course, my grandkids would look at me and they says, that's because there was so much less then.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, so he talks a little bit about the different tariffs that were passed and that caused some problems. And it says Abraham Lincoln was the first sectional president in American history. He was president of the North, and the North was clamoring for war. He saw an opportunity to start it without appearing to be the aggressor, so he took it. So he started a war that killed 800,000 men and women and wounded 1 million. That's a lot of people at that time.
This
I mean,
is one man's view of history.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
No.
All right. Yeah.
And I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think that it's very interesting to get that perspective, because some people will say, oh, no, slavery was the reason, so I think that this is a great way to find another perspective and then challenge it if you want to challenge it.
Sure.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
It's like so many issues. There's never just one viewpoint of it. There's always a kernel of truth in both sides. So somewhere in the middle is where we all live, and that's probably where we should. So.
Right. So, and there are, of course, different professors that are applauding this and, and all of that. But
does he live in the South?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Of course. Of course. Come on. Yep. So, and they're all going to, like you said, they're going to have their own perspective on how the president acted. They're going to have their own perspective about all of it. But I do think that even to state that in today's political climate, as far as being able to say out loud, slavery was not the cause, with all the stuff that's going on, that's kind of brave, because, somebody's going to attack them, right? I mean, and it's just, and we shouldn't, and I've said this a lot of times, I just don't believe that we should be attacking people because they disagree with our opinion.
No.
And, just state yours and give some good facts about it. And so I'm going to give a plug for What's the Story, because we have socialism versus capitalism. We have the 3 different perspectives, Democrat, Republican, and Independent. And we will have another topic next month. I haven't even told my writers, so I can't tell you.
Oh, no.
I know.
Oh.
But it'll be a good one. You'll like it.
If you tell me, you won't have to kill me later.
I might. Never know. These guys are tough, right? I don't want to make them mad at me. They write every month for me, so I got to be nice to them.
It is interesting because in today's environment, just pick one radio station over the other, one talking head over the other, and you go, man, I didn't see that coming. Oh,
Right.
well,
Right.
how about this? My goodness, how can they take the same set of facts and come to two completely different conclusions?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They just
well,
do.
that's the old adage again. Where you stand on a subject depends on where you sit.
That is true.
Yeah,
That is
so-
very true.
I'm just full of them today.
You
aren't I?
are. Wow. How did that happen?
I don't. Well, do you remember my book of quotes that I
Yes.
read last time?
Yes,
well,
I
I've been
do.
perusing it.
Ah, okay. So now he's memorizing. Oh, poor Debbie.
But sometimes I mix two of them together and come up with my own.
Well, I guess that's not plagiarizing if you're doing that. I'm not sure what that would be called. There's got to be a term for that, though, I'm sure. Oh, he's signaling us. It's time for us to take a break. How about that? So we are glad that you are listening, and we hope you'll stick with us. We are going to come back in just a moment after these words from our sponsors. You are listening to What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermsen, and my co-host here, Doug Ashby, has an awesome book, Heroes and Giants.
Thank you.
That was fun.
That would be an interesting book.
Now, at the top of the hour, it's not me signaling you, it's the computer.
I know it is. I know. Come on. You're gonna tell
I
my
know.
secrets?
Yes, I am.
How come?
Well, you already told your other one that
I
you
know.
forget your paperwork every week. Or nearly every week.
Nearly every week, yeah. Not every week, just every now. Probably every other.
I do that when I make lists of things I have to do. Jump in my car and go, where's my list? It's at home.
That's funny.
But the other side of that is that when I see a list and then I check a few things off, at the end of the day, it just frustrates me because I didn't get to all the things I wanted. So
It's true. Grocery stores like it because then you have to come back again, and every time you come back, you spend more. You never just buy what you're going after, right?
Yeah, I went to the Walmart pharmacy at Demonte Ranch the other day to pick up my
Yeah,
prescriptions.
I'm surprised I've never seen you over there.
I went there to pick up my prescriptions, and one of them wasn't ready yet because they had charged me money for it, and it was $0 on my copay. And so I'm sitting there, okay, so they hadn't run it on insurance. So they had to, once they take it to the back, they have to recount it in that.
Oh.
So it was going to be, a few minutes. So it's okay, I got a couple of items I need to go pick up. 15 items later, I had a list of 4 items. 15 items later, I go and I make them check them out.
Yeah.
I said, Cindy, see, this is what you get for not having it ready for me.
That's right. Yeah, but she gets kudos for the store, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? We should probably, can you call Ed for me? Is it possible?
I can. Do we need to do this on a telephone?
We have to do it on a telephone. He said his grandmother doesn't have good service there, so.
He doesn't have good cell service? Or
Yeah. Well, I don't know what kind of service. I don't know what he's
what do you
talking
mean? You're
about.
talking, Ohio or Iowa?
No, just where she is.
Okay,
where
and
she happens to
Ohio
be.
grandma, you picture an old wooden phone with a crank on it.
It's still old party lines.
Is that what we picture?
Okay, Jan?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to hand it to me so we're not announcing this phone number over the air.
Oh, that's probably an excellent idea. Although it's probably the one that's on his sign. So it probably doesn't matter. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll
So-
try that one.
Yeah, try that one. Try that one first. Otherwise, I have to walk over there and get my cell phone. Can I say?
Oh, that trip to California down in Orange County. I went through an area that I knew very, very well.
Hello.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
I feel like I'm on one of those radio shows.
Hello, Ed Noel.
No, it isn't. I know who Ed Noel is, and this is not Ed Noel.
What are you doing, man?
Not much. Where's your
I'll
sign?
catch up,
Uh-oh.
Your sign's not in the window today. Where's your sign, Ed?
I know, man. I'm dragging ass.
Yeah, clear across the country.
Well, I know. So
You didn't pay
oh,
me
what a
enough
good
to put
day.
it out there for you.
Yeah.
No, well, honestly, I hadn't thought that far ahead.
Neither did I until he said something. I said, "Oh, I could have put that out there."
Yeah, I was. But
Then it only showed the last four digits. I wouldn't put
Yeah,
some
because I
thoughts.
keep walking in front of it, right?
Well, that's all right. Doug was standing in front of you about 3/4 of the first show.
There was a little shoulder looking over the shoulder.
I tried to do my imitation of Ed earlier, but I can't get my voice that deep. Can't get my
It
voice
was
that
really, it was kind of a different experience watching
Oh,
and not participating.
I imagine. I imagine.
It's like, it's kind of like you're that kid who's like, there's 10 people on the baseball team and only 9 play.
Yep.
It was like the guy on the bench.
Yeah. Aw.
But you still got the trophy, Ed.
Oh, but hey, it is so fun here.
That was a
My
good
kids
one.
hanging with
My goodness, we're
So
all on today.
I'm treating you, Craig, like my family now. It gives me shit all the time, right? You give them shit, you just listen and plow through.
Oh, just a reminder, Ed, all this conversation is being heard on Facebook Live right now.
Oh, sorry, Facebook Live. I'll conform.
Oh, why? You never do otherwise.
Looks
Why
like-
start now?
It looks, I guess that's true. You
It
guys
is
look
true.
like you're having a good time, though.
We are.
Yeah, you're
No,
not here.
no, wait a minute. No, we're not. No, we miss you.
So-
This isn't fun
So
without you.
what donuts what sweet did Doug bring today?
Oh, he didn't bring anything. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
We are sweetless.
You know
we
what?
are sweetless.
I asked Debbie, what should I bring? And
Nope, she's not paying attention.
Well, she can't hear because it's the news out there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
And she's not on Facebook Live, so
I will say, watching Facebook, I did miss did you play the Book Blitz music?
We did.
Yeah, you can't hear the music and stuff through
Oh, I
Facebook
didn't know
Live.
that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. Not on
because
Facebook.
that's what blows your ears out when I have to play it for Facebook
Right, so
Live.
I missed it. So I missed the music.
Yeah, we couldn't see you dancing anyway. Thank God.
Hey, do you have anything for us today, or are we just going to chat?
What's your weather like back there?
It has been really exciting, thunderstorms, lightning, sun. It's just that Midwest cloudy weather that I get a visit for a week and go back home to the sun, I hope.
Oh, well, it's.
I heard it's not present today.
It's 91.
Oh, I was
Is
gonna,
it?
I was
Yeah.
Gonna, no, I was going to lie to him and tell him it was 72, so he'd miss us.
Well, that's what it is here. I mean, it's been it's just really humid here. It's right on the Ohio River. It's such a my grandparents have
Here we
always
go,
lived
kids.
here.
Stand by.
Kind of like.
$15. I almost forgot to start the record. And then I have to download it from Facebook to get the recording. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back. You're listening to What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen, here with my co-host, Doug Ashby.
Thank you.
Mr. Doug. And lo and behold, over the break, we got a hold of our other co-host, Mr. Ed Noel, who bailed on us today. Hey, Ed.
Hey, Jan. Hey, I was a reluctant bailer.
Hey, where's that
But,
cough button?
That's right. Where's that cough button? No cough button there, right? You just
Not at all.
You decided that you needed a vacation from us, but we're not letting you get away. How's that?
I love, and it was kind of interesting watching the show. I do. I brought my kids back to Ohio, which I have since they were born, where we're from, and all gives me a reason to connect. And when I got away from working with, in bigger organizations that could choose my vacation, this is one I've chosen for quite a number of years. And, nothing like family to beat you down and humble you. And right, man, I need humbling from time to time. And
I love your attitude. I think that's awesome.
Well, it's kind of, I'm a rock star radio co-host, right?
Oh, I
Come home and
see.
come home and get beat to shreds, right? They pummel me.
The fun thing about being with kids is that they have no filter. They will tell you the way things are.
I'm really fortunate mostly that my whole family's kind of like me in that respect, or I mimic them. We're hold no punches.
Yeah.
What it is what it is. And it's kind of the only way I know, and I value it.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, how that oftentimes gets you in trouble because of the fact that you have filters, but more limited.
I don't always implement them. Yes.
I guess that's what it is. Because I know you have them.
Well, right. I spent this afternoon 3 or 4 hours with my kids and my 97-year-old grandmother, and she's sharp as a tack, and it's kind of like a floating head. Her body's really fragile, and she's the longest living Noel in our immediate family, and she's looking for reasons to be happy.
Yeah,
right?
And, I always find it interesting as we age that you get to a certain age, you don't want to tell anyone. Then you get older and older and older, and it's like it's a badge you wear. I remember when my mom did that, and it was like, I'm whatever age that might be, right?
Yeah.
And, it's like, yeah. So, I don't know. I just think it's
it is
interesting.
a badge of courage.
Yeah.
Well, and she goes through, right? And of course, for my kids, there's old pictures on the wall. And my dad passed when I was young, so they never knew him. And there's pictures of him and my great-grandfather and, just stories. It's just always been about letting them know where they're from.
That's nice. That's very nice. And they don't miss being at home. They're okay. I remember when I was a teenager, my parents took us, they were originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I remember a trip when I was a teenager that they took us there, and we went to this farm that one of my uncles owned. And oh my, I was a little brat. I sat in the car and I pouted and I didn't want to go in, and they're going to go pick mushrooms, and I was like, yeah. So you don't have that with your family,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
You can't make me have fun.
That's right.
I will tell you that my daughter has the choice to come or not. Obviously, she's working at Disney World
Right,
in Orlando, and it's just a bunch. It's not like there's a bunch of girls other than my mom and aunts and things. And she makes the trip, and she's not
That's
one
cool.
who does
That's
things
cool.
that she doesn't like to do.
Yeah.
It's
And your
really-
son, does Fox like it?
He loves it. It's their
Oh,
favorite
that's
trip of the
good.
year.
That's awesome. That's really,
They
that's
get
a testament to your
spoiled and-
family.
Well, they get spoiled and get out, and we're at the Portsmouth Brewing Company right now in beautiful Portsmouth, Ohio, on the banks of the Ohio River, and it's about 99% humid and dusk. And my skin's going to be good for the trip. But today, I think with me on vacation, I think the balance, we all need to work strong, right? Stay strong, but be able to take a breather and come back and really not be able to miss a beat. I'll say that I'm not good at it. I'm in training on it.
Well, tell us what you did yesterday.
But I
for
try.
Father's Day.
I need work in the balance arena,
Ah.
but I really give it effort.
How did you celebrate Father's Day yesterday?
By playing 2 rounds of Frisbee golf in the rain with my son. First year
How
he played,
fun.
and we play in a tournament, and it's just a ball. We just have family. It's a family picnic on a farm with pool, and 50 friends and family, and it's just the best ever.
That's cool. That's very cool. So your message to the world today is balance, huh?
Balance, please have it.
Yeah,
Please
you need to
give
have it
yourself
always.
that opportunity, because if you don't, you can't turn back the clock, right? I think
That's right.
most of us realize that, like, when we're near the end, we're not going to talk about how much work we did.
No. We might
But we
say
will
how much fun
miss
we
those
had doing it.
opportunities.
We might say how much
Right,
fun we
and-
had doing it, but yeah, no.
Yeah,
But
no.
right, we talk about the family members and
Yes.
people we saw and when we last saw them, and I'm just fortunate my kids are old and they'll know their grandmother.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think it's nice that you had the opportunity to do that and take them with you to do it. So that's very cool. We got about 30 seconds. Are you going to hang out with us some more, or are you going to hang up and move on and have some
I'm
balance?
going to go eat.
Ah, okay.
I'm going to go eat. I've been waiting outside a restaurant, if that's all right.
Well, we're glad you joined us for your segment. That was nice of you to take that segment, even though you're gone.
You know what? I so value the opportunity I have there and miss you guys, and it was fun watching you, and
Yeah.
thanks for letting me be part of the show today.
Yes, well, we're glad you did. And we're going to cut out to a break now, and that was Ed Noel, and he's going to go eat dinner. And we're going to be back. And if you're on Facebook, stay with us. All right.
Do you realize the technology that we're using here to be
It's
able to
amazing.
do that? Isn't
Yeah,
that something?
I love it.
Ah,
And it doesn't
Thank
sound.
you guys so very
thanks.
much.
Thanks, Ed. Go enjoy
right,
your
we'll talk to
dinner.
you guys later.
Yeah.
I
All right.
will indeed. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, Ed.
Bye.
Did he fly back or drive back?
I think they flew. Pretty
Oh,
sure
yeah,
they flew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't ask, but I'm pretty sure that's what they did.
Yeah. Oh, what a blessing to be able to do that. Take the family and, yeah.
Yep. Tis it is. I'm going to see what I had planned for this. Oh, we're going to talk. You want to talk about fires a little bit?
Sure.
Want to do that right now?
Sure.
We can do that now, or we can do it at the end. I've got a little bit at the end, just a little thing about the Mission Act that was passed.
Which is,
Oh, it's for veterans.
it's what?
For veterans.
Oh, okay. You know,
So-
I did remember something about that.
Yes, sir. Even without my notes, I know this. Go figure, huh?
Yeah.
It has gone quickly. This has been like,
You know,
well, and I'm trying, to monitor Facebook, which is really hard when I'm doing this. So,
when I was down in Orange County, a fellow that I grew up with, his wife has been battling cancer for the past 2 years.
remember you're online here.
And
Okay.
they just got word that they thought she was cured. She went through 2 years of chemo, and they found another spot of cancer.
Oh.
So she's going to the City of Hope. And now they have the choice. The doctors told them, you have two choices. We can treat the cancer or not. But it's not going to lengthen your life any.
Oh, wow.
And they said, well, how long is the life going to be? And they said, about a year, give or take a couple months. So it's just been, just this, yeah. And it fits right into what Ed's talking
Right.
about, that we're so blessed to be here and do these things. And they're such good people. And he was my best man. I met him when we were both 4. And
Oh, my.
We lived when I was in college, we lived together for 2 or 3 years. And
My husband has a friend like that they
I
met
was-
when he was 4, and they're still friends.
yeah,
To this day.
Yeah. Oh, he's he's so easy to be a friend with. He just has just a wonderful way about him, and so does his wife. And I texted him yesterday. I said, "Well, have you gotten any news back from your trip to the City of the Hope?" And they said, "No, they give it to a panel of doctors, and then they'll get back to him in about a week."
I think we're coming back.
Okay.
Sorry. I saw him getting up.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
That was my cue.
Yeah. Just makes me so sad.
It does. And we are back. You are listening to What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen here with my co-host, Doug Ashby.
Yep.
Yep. That's Doug. Yep.
Yep.
So, as we have said in the past, this is has been in the past our Blues and Kids segment. They have taken some time off. They've really taken a sabbatical.
Yeah.
They had the Utah Blues Festival this weekend. It was the 14th and the 15th. And I have not gotten a report from Bobby Joe yet on how that went. I'm sure that they're winding down, and hopefully it was a good show, and I'm sure that they had a wonderful time. I can't even imagine. I wish I could have gone. Why are you laughing?
Well, it was when we had them on the air and we were talking to these two young kids, very positive, very upbeat,
Yes.
just, exemplary of what we, like in kids.
Right.
And had them on the radio.
Yeah.
And I thought, you always scratch your head for a leading question that they could run with. And so I asked them, I said, well, how are you balancing, your playing
Right.
with school? And there was this long pause.
Did we ever get an answer
No,
to
we
that?
didn't.
I didn't think we did.
Well, maybe that wasn't a good question.
Well, apparently they're doing something right. I feel that with their attitudes and their respect, that their parents probably wouldn't let them
Yeah.
do a lot if
Yeah.
they were not
Yeah.
stepping up.
Yeah,
I
well,
would
I
say.
hope not, because school
Yeah.
is important, I
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we were just talking about off air, and when Ed was on in his segment, he was talking about having balance, and that truly family is really very important, and that when it all comes down to the end, right? That what else have you got? And telling people how much work you did doesn't really. It's just not the same. It's just not what's there.
One of the jobs I had when I was with the fire department, I was a bereavement officer at a funeral.
Oh,
Yeah, it was, and the only reason I had it is because the battalion I had Rose Hills Mortuary and Cemetery in it, and nobody was there to do it, so they asked me to do it, and I said, well, I'll be more than happy to. Well, the thing that struck me about that whole service was our chaplain gets up and he's talking to the crowd, and he looks at everybody and he says, nobody is going to escape what we're doing right here. And I thought, oh my gosh, is that ever sobering?
boy, isn't it though? I mean, you talk about.
I did raise my hand. Can we make an exception?
No. Forget it, buddy.
Yeah.
Not happening. Yeah, and I think that, as we get older, we're experiencing friends dying and family members that are getting ill that have never been ill.
Yeah.
And, and it's different. It's just different. And even though when you were young, you had those experiences, as you age, it's different because you see yourself a lot. And it's very frustrating,
Well,
I would say.
I used to laugh at my dad. We were going to roof his house, and I got him two bids, and one of them had a 20-year guarantee, and the other had a 30-year guarantee. Now he's 80-something, and he says, "I'm not having a damn 20-year roof." I like that attitude, Dad.
It's so funny because when we bought our house, I have to admit, they said, this is a 40-year roof. And I went, where does that put me? Because on my other house, I had to put a roof on, so I know what that costs.
I certainly hope I'm around to have to
I'd like
re-roof
to
it.
appreciate that. I hope I will.
Well, I told you I was down in L.A. and I went by the house I grew up in, and it was built in 1950. Well, you throw a number out there, it doesn't mean anything
doesn't
until
mean
you
a
put it
thing.
in context.
Right.
That's almost 70 years ago.
I know.
And I know
it's
I'm not that
crazy.
old.
Oh, that's funny. Well, and every week for quite a few weeks now, I have been putting in my posts. I tell everybody how many days are left in the year. And there are 197 days left in this year. We're not quite halfway yet. That's 28 weeks and 1 day. So, and I just ask, how have you decided to use them? And I wasn't going to do this every week, and I thought, that's really a sobering question, though, really and truly, when you think about it, because what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Right? And have you even thought about what you're going to do with it? Or are you just like living? I think for many years of my life, at least, I think I just lived. I don't see anything wrong with that. I was in the moment. I lived.
Sure.
But it certainly is different as we talk about this and as people, do start to meet their demise,
Sure.
where we're all going to be.
Sure.
And it makes you think a little differently. That's all. And I wouldn't want to always think that way. I don't want to live my life that way. However, you kind of can't escape it at some point.
Every time I read that, I think, how am I doing with that? And I've been
it's like a little jog reminder.
It is. And I've been fortunate that being a Type A personality, I'm always planning 2 weeks ahead, and I've got to get to, and I love projects. I love building things, and so I'm always busy. Now, a good friend of mine, he's still a practicing attorney. He's into his 70s, and I asked him when he's going to retire, and he says, "I'm not." And he's just
I'm with him. I'm not.
Yeah, well, he's afraid that he will be useless. And I said,
well, I don't have that fear.
Yeah, he does. And because a lot of his self-worth is tied up in him being an attorney. And so,
I don't look at it that way, but I really do look at it that I enjoy what I do. So as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing, why should I stop just because I've turned a certain age? If I stop enjoying it, I'll stop.
Yeah.
And I will have the leverage to do that, right? I can say, I don't want to do that anymore. Okay, I'm done.
I have a lifetime goal, and it's going to sound a lot different than it really is. I have a very close friend of mine. It's his wife, and she professes to be an atheist. And I want.
So your goal is?
Well, I would like for her to change her thoughts, and not not in the typical way. I just would like to be an example of things that she can look at to say, well, maybe there is another side. Maybe there is something else. Not beat the Bible.
So you don't really want to change her. You just want to represent what you think is out there.
Exactly. Thank you. You said it a lot better than I ever could.
You can use my words.
Okay, good. We can make that into a slogan too, huh? But and the unfortunate thing is, and people have asked me about that before, and I said, well, I'm not a very good Christian because I hate to say this, but if I fail, I fail. That burden is certainly not on my shoulders. It's on hers, and she's the one that's going to reap the benefit from it. So, and if I was a good Christian, I couldn't live with that thought.
Okay.
All
right.
But I do quite fine.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm very glad.
Yeah.
Hey, we wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that fire season's coming up.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
That's
yes.
kind of. Boy, and it does every year, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
Any
tips, or thankfully we don't have to talk about anything happening out there right now.
Oh, yeah. No, not right now.
So that's good.
You see a lot of it on the news media now. Be prepared for, be fire safe and this and that. And most of that's geared for people that live in the wildland areas. And, clear the brush away from their house and, make sure that they have a garden hose handy and make sure. And here's something that many people don't think about, that if you're told to evacuate, as a matter of fact, this fits in perfectly with what we're talking about. What is it you're going to take with you? What is the momentum that you want to bring? I mean, are you going to try to put the sofa in your car? I mean, does that mean a lot to you? Yeah. So, I mean, is it going to
Not mine. You can have mine.
Yeah, that's right. But what exactly are you going to take? And you should prearrange that, because have them in boxes where you can stuff them in the car real quick, because you see the results of areas that have been ravaged, and there's nothing left. So,
as a firefighter, did you see a lot of people trying to take too much? Was that part
absolutely.
of? Is that always what you see?
Yeah. Janice is looking at me, and sometimes I get a smile on my face, and she knows something's up. We were out to protect a house, and they were afraid their house was gonna burn.
Right.
So for whatever reason, they moved everything out of the house and put it on the front lawn.
Ooh.
Their house was fine.
Oh, it came around them.
Yeah, and got all
Yeah.
the stuff they put on the
Yeah.
front lawn.
Well, maybe they saved their house,
Yeah,
right?
they did, but our house, go ahead and burn it down. It's the
Right.
things that are in it that are
Right,
important. So
right.
yeah, I just
No,
kinda,
that's an interesting story. Wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, and then there was another where they loaded everything. Guy had a brick house next door, and there, so they put everything over in the brick house. Well, now you have a vacant house and a brick house with two, families worth of stuff. Well, you'll never guess which one burnt down. Yeah, the
Oh,
old brick
boy.
house. So
Oh, boy.
you just never know.
You don't. Yeah, you can't second guess a fire, that's for
No,
sure.
absolutely
So just be
not.
prepared, get a box, throw your stuff in, be ready,
Yeah,
take
yep,
it with
be
you,
ready.
and go.
Yep, and do
And
it.
just go.
Do it.
Save yourself. That's much more important.
Well, yeah, and don't wait to be told. You can tell.
Well, yeah.
We used to get in communications. We used to get calls all the time. Should I evacuate? And they go, I don't know where you live. I don't. Open the door. Look out. Is the fire near you?
You couldn't say that.
I know.
I know you didn't say
I
that.
certainly thought it though.
Oh, you could write a book. All the
Yeah.
things I wanted to say.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
Oh, it would be humorous. It would be humorous. Well, we do have Mr. Brian T. Shirley that we need to
Perfect.
chat with. So, and the Hollywood Rock and Wrap Up coming up. So we will talk to them soon, and hopefully you'll stay with us as well. We'll be right back. See, I did that without notes, gang. How about that?
Uh-oh, she's out there smiling. We must have done something.
You told good stories.
Oh.
Right? Right.
So, by the way, we're coming straight to you because you didn't send me one.
Come on. I did on Friday. I did.
Didn't get anything. I saw, last thing I got was the phone number for Ed Fuller on the 11th.
I know I sent it on Friday. I remember.
If you can resend it, I might have it in time.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Shirley, you must be kidding.
Oh, how you doing? Well, there's Janice. I hear her laughing.
Always. It's what I do.
She
So I'm
chuckles.
How's it
told.
going?
I chuckle, yes. It's because the first time I heard myself laugh when I was on air, I changed my laugh because I said, oh, that's horrid. That is horrid.
I've never heard that.
Oh, I
How do you
hated
change
it.
the laugh?
Oh, it
You're
was
so-
easy.
you're
It
doing a-
was easy.
How do you change your laugh?
It was easy. When I heard how I sounded on air, I said, oh, no, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not laughing
you
like
do-
that.
You're doing a fake laugh.
No, it's not. Now it's real.
Did you send it?
I did. And apparently I did not send it to you. I lied. I looked. I lied. I'll admit it. I lied.
And right
So
now
you're
it's
getting
telling me I have no
messages.
new messages, so
Oh, come on.
I might not make it.
All right. Well, if you don't, you don't. I'll
So
be a
that must
liar
be the
about
rock
that,
wrap
too.
up. So we're talking about the rock and wrap
Yes,
up,
we
aren't
are. Yes, we are.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Dang it.
Oh well, it's only a minute. I think I can come up with another minute.
You think you can come up with a minute? Good for you.
I think so. We'll
Yay.
see.
I'm so happy. But Craig's pretty good. If it got there, he'll probably have it in. Did it not get there, Craig?
I've got a few more seconds, so.
Well,
Seconds. Wow.
well, I turned off my air conditioner, so I'm gonna.
Oh, no, you're going to roast.
Well,
Did you hear any of the show
all-
and what I talked about, what the event that they celebrated this weekend?
no.
Oh, okay.
I-
That's okay.
Something's going on with when I try to listen to y'all. It freezes all the time. I should just go to the site and listen instead of try to watch. I'll do that next time.
Oh, that's weird.
uh,
Wonder why it freezes.
Probably because my computer is
Oh.
old and slow.
He's got that.
Yeah, it was the commemoration of the Battle of Secessionville
Oh, okay.
on June 16th. It was a Confederate victory and one of the most important battles of the war between the states. Because if you guys had lost, Charleston wouldn't be what it is today.
Okay.
So,
That's cool.
yeah, I thought so. I just wondered if you ever went. Obviously, you do not.
All right, kids.
It hurts.
Is it squeezing the brain matter?
Oh no. Thinning hair.
We don't want any more gray hair.
Thinning hair. No, it's the thinning, probably. Can I say? Old. I admit it. I admit it.
I feel old every day.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
It's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Caitlyn Jenner took to Twitter for a shout-out to all the Kardashian family fathers. However, no mention of Khloe's baby daddy, Tristan Thompson. Cheating on a pregnant Khloe and later with a family friend, Caitlyn Jenner is furious for spending tens of thousands of dollars to transform into a woman and is still considered more of a man than Tristan Thompson. His fandom in full effect, Drake carried in the trophy to start the party celebrating the NBA Finals champions, the Toronto Raptors. Providing all of the alcohol to the team as his gift, Drake's selfless deed allows us to once again congratulate the half-Jewish rapper on his recent bar mitzvah. 90s rocker Courtney Love revealed in a recent interview that she was visited by the ghost of her late husband and former Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain. In a related story, Courtney Love's still alive. And that's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rockin' Wrap-Up.
Welcome back.
That's why I said that one.
Apparently, Brian enjoyed that. Welcome back,
Yeah.
Brian. It's time for Brian T. Shirley in the BTS Entertainment Corner. He's right there in it.
That's a funny one. I sometimes I can read them before I send them. I try to all the time, and that was when he says Courtney's still alive. I almost fell out of my bed laughing. Well, it's good to be here on What's the Story. BTS Entertainment Corner is going to be doing some talking about extra work, and I'm just kind of out of sorts. I got to be honest with y'all. I was dating a physicist, this lady, physicist, and it didn't work out.
Sorry to hear that.
You want to know what happened?
I was going to say, am I walking into something here?
She wasn't down to earth.
No, she blinded me with science.
Oh. Dun-dun-dun.
If you didn't get it, you're either too old or too young. All right. Let's keep
I
going.
just watched the movie this weekend.
Oh, okay. So.
It takes a real genius to watch that one.
Right. I'm going to be doing background work tomorrow on the new Netflix series OBX. It's a 10-episode thriller. And
nice.
OBX stands for Outer Banks, by the way. So it's being filmed here in Charleston, and it's about the Outer Banks, North Carolina. So it fits in
good.
well. Yeah. I'm going to be at Kiowa Island shooting that tomorrow. Not only am I going to be in it, but my car is, too.
That new car that you got while you were on our show?
Right. Yes, that one. The Malibu. Because they said, well, can you send us pictures of your cars? We need 10 cars or whatever scene. He said, I said, it's not a luxury car, but I sent them the picture, and they said, okay. So here's a little lesson for you kids out there. When that happens, you get what they call an auto or a car bump. So you get like an extra, in this case, it's an extra $20.
Woo-hoo.
So it's just,
big money.
Yeah, and I'm bringing some props, and if they use any of those, I'll get another bump. So we'll see. Like beach towels and stuff like that. They want us to bring stuff.
That's very interesting. That's something that I was not aware that happened. Wouldn't have known.
Yeah, that's why we do this show. We want to bring stuff to the public that they don't know. Those little inside details like that. A lot of people don't know.
Well, we can share a little detail right now too of what goes on in the studio when your engineer has some other work to do, and he goes on camera and works on his other stuff while we're on the show.
Oh, okay. Well, that's called double duty, isn't it?
It is double duty.
Double duty, double dipping.
I just couldn't resist, Craig. It was interesting to watch you walk out of the booth and go over to your machine over there and start working away. So anybody who's watching on Facebook, that's what he's doing. That's our engineer. There you go.
Okay. I'll give you the log line for this OBX.
Oh, good.
When a hurricane hits the North Carolina Outer Banks and brings down all power, communication, and the internet, 4 teenagers experience life without smartphones and Snapchat.
Interesting.
So it could be. Sounds like a horror movie to some teenagers. So, depending on where you're at, it's either a horror or it's a comedy. So
That's
we'll
right.
see.
Maybe a little of both.
Yeah. But I'll be starting on that tomorrow. I only got one day this week, and you don't know. You go in, you do the scenes. Will you be seen again? Who knows? Are you gonna, are they gonna use you again? It just depends on the script and everything. And by the way, Dine with the Devil has been accepted into another film festival, X-World Film Festival.
Congratulations. Yay.
Thank you. And this one's like 3 tiers. You go through, the first part is online, and then, much like our film festival, No Strings Attached News Film Festival, which is starting in July, then it goes, if it makes it past that level, it goes to the judges, like our board of directors.
Right,
Janice,
right.
It goes to them, and then they decide if it's going to be shown at whatever theater they're doing this at. So these are that one and the other one that it got accepted to are both international. So one of them has a possibility. It's might be shown at the Pinewood Theater in London, I believe it is, and this one I'll have more details as this goes, if it gets any further. But that was kind of cool. The thing that we were going to discuss that I talked with you about, Janice, real quick, because I know the time is running.
That's all right. You got quite a bit of time still. You're good.
Okay. We did a article on Dobie Maxwell for BTS Entertainment Corner, and it was in What's the Story, the publication. And he has a group on Facebook called the Maxwell Method of Comedy. So if there's any aspiring comedians out there, or any veteran comedians, or journeyman comedians, I highly recommend checking that out on Facebook. It is just for comedians. And what happens is they go on and just discuss the aspects of the business of comedy. And Adobe put one out recently that really touched me. I mean, it did. A lot of them do, but this one especially hit home. And he was talking about the fact of not really working a lot of comedy clubs anymore. I mean, he's still working. He's on cruise ships and things like that now. He's been all over TV. And if anybody wants to check that out, all they got to do is go to issue.com, where What's the Story is at, and you can see our interview now. But I'm kind of in that boat right now, where I haven't been doing a lot of comedy clubs, but I'm still working. I've been, like I said, I just did on my birthday last week, I did a show in someone's living room, believe it or not. A lady that was turning 90, So
we all aspire to that.
Yeah. Right. That's a great resume builder right there, Jen. Yeah.
Right?
Well, what's funny about it is, it sounds like a little bitty amateur gig or something, but to do that, you've got to know your stuff. You've got to be a pro, because to go into someone's living room and do 30 minutes to their family and make it successful, you can't go in there just doing hack bits and all this other stuff. And a guy that's been doing it for 1 or 2 years maybe can pull it off, but that's a big maybe. I mean, it depends on his material. If he's writing clean the whole time, yeah, he might can get. But to put together a 30-minute clean set takes years, unless you're just prolific. And but I enjoyed it. I really did. And going forward, I just want to say that I don't miss performing for drunk people. It's just, I'm probably going to make some enemies here, but I don't care. Also dealing with, there's some great club owners, there's some great bookers out there, but then there's some just you don't want to work for anymore. You've had it, or it's like, okay, you want me back? We're going to get some money now, because I'm not. It's your level. Well, what do you do if you want to go back to a place you hate playing? They're going to pay me a lot, because I'm not doing that stuff anymore of running around for. $75 or whatever the case is, and some of them won't move you up. You're still stuck at feature level. That's when you're the middle guy and you're still doing 30 minutes. And I'm just not doing that anymore. I'm like, yeah, I'll feature for, I don't know, Ron White or somebody like that, but I'm not, going to feature for a guy that's at my level.
I think that you're sharing a lot of information that people that just watch really don't understand about, which I think is good. They don't understand about how this all works and what you're up against and how difficult it is to work through this and get to a level that is big success. All these 30-year overnight successes, right? Right? I mean, that's just the way it works.
That is.
Yeah.
That's exactly the story. You want to know what's the story? There's the story.
There's the story right there.
It's success is not built in one evening.
It's not.
On levels of foundation, work, writing, practicing, getting in front of people, correcting your editing your material. It's a process.
Right.
So
it is.
I'm at that point now that when I see somebody
you're coming up on the end here, so we're gonna have to wrap you.
All right, well, just check me out at briantshirley.com, and we got some big news coming about Norma's Son, the movie. I just talked to the creator of it.
Got the email.
Yeah, you got the email.
Yep.
So check that email out. It's really cool.
Okay. We'll get together on that.
We'll be moving on that pretty soon.
Yep, we will.
And he wants to come on the show.
Yep, I got it. We will do it. All right. Thank you, Brian. Brian T. Shirley.
Thank you.
BTS Entertainment Corner. Check him out. This is What's the Story. We'll be right back. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you can't get him next Monday, we can do the Monday after or whenever.
It depends on if he can do the time that I need. I have somebody booked, but I can still book him. I have more time available. So let me just check the schedule. I didn't have time to look.
And you can do him. I told him if you want to have him on Book Hound because the movie is based on his book. So.
Okay, yeah, and it would be good too. Either that, or we'll just do a Book Hound segment when you're on, because it would be nice if you were on there too.
Okay. I mean, if I can't be, that's no big deal. But yeah, I'd like to.
Well, I think it'd be nice if you could, though. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'll try and coordinate with you and make sure you can be there too.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks,
Bye,
Brian.
y'all. Have a good day.
Yeah, we will. One more segment.
Don't want you to say I didn't look. I was going to go, well, you couldn't. You don't have your notes.
I didn't look. I have to remember now, right? Well, since we changed the show, it's taken me a while to kind of get used to the new segments and when
you like
they
it
are.
better?
I do. I like it a lot better. And I like that we can mix things up a little bit, too.
Yeah.
We don't have to, just like I was talking to him, I can book this guy, even though it wouldn't be in the normal time frame, I can still fit him into another segment because we have flexibility now that we didn't have before.
Yeah.
Because we did 2 separate shows, and so you kind of had to do it this way or this way, and people's schedules just don't work that way.
Yeah.
When you're trying to schedule people. Well, look at today. I mean,
yeah.
You said you'd be here, but I didn't know you were going to be the only one. I'm glad you're here.
Well, thank you.
Otherwise, I'd be the only one. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. I thought about that. Just the way my devious mind thinks. I'll send her a message. Go, oh, Janice, was
I
it today?
suspected that was coming.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still in California.
I know. I was waiting for that, and I thought, okay, I guess I can do a solo, but boy, I'm going to have to come up with some material here. And what am I going to talk about for 2 hours?
No,
without boring everybody.
No, you're never boring. This is so much fun. You know what?
It's funny. It's funny. But I am seeing no comments, so if anybody is commenting, I'm not seeing it. And I saw different folks join, but it's been too hard for me to do it all. Well, watch, run, talk. I mean, I can multitask, but
yeah.
sometimes.
When I was in communications, we did everything manually. You know, you had to write down an address and everything. So we had a regular, you know, format you would use. And on the ceiling, we pasted one of these formats. And people, what's that for? And we go, well, when Gene is circling the ceiling, we figured maybe he could jot down something while he's up there because he can't multitask.
That's funny. Welcome back. You're just chuckling away, aren't you, Doug?
I am.
This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen, and that is Doug Ashby
Yep.
over there. Coming on to our last segment. Thanks for being with us and hanging out. And
Yeah, thank you.
we've had a good time today.
We have. It always is. Isn't it fun?
Yeah. I really enjoyed our guests at the beginning of the show.
Yes, they were
awesome. Christopher
informative.
Paris and Rich Stoltz. If you missed that part, you should go back and listen to the beginning of the show, especially if you're an electrical contractor. Great information. And
Well, you know, I had to ask him because the way his business has evolved
Right.
and what he's gotten into, he said he's an electrical contractor. Well, I didn't know if it was hard fix stuff like, you know, installing a light
Right.
or whether, you know, he was into building computers.
Yeah.
Well, he, as it turned out, he does a little bit of
He does,
everything.
a little bit of
So
everything, yeah.
It was a very apt description of him, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. He's very, like I say, I met him on LinkedIn, and it's just funny. Some people you connect with, and you can
Yeah.
build, a synergy, and some people it just doesn't work out that way. But he knew what he wanted, and that was part of the battle. Because he was joking with me about, I just won't give up.
Yeah.
I was willing to have him on the show. It was more a matter of coordinating the time. So
Yeah.
I was glad to have him come on and share his story.
What I thought was interesting, and it really was an insight to, I think, his personality, is that he's an electrical contractor, and yet he saw a need and he filled that need. Well,
Outside of his own realm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He went
Yeah.
in and built a computer program.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't know the first thing about that. I
don't
don't
know if
even
he
know
did
how to
either.
load it into my own computer.
But
let
I
alone
think,
build it.
I think sometimes when you have, what you need, it's easier to learn how to do that than
Yeah.
it is to try and
Yeah.
explain it to that guy that knows how
Yeah.
to do that already.
Yeah.
And I think that in a lot of cases, that's what's hard for a lot of people trying to get these programs together to help them in their industry, because the people that are actually competent and excellent at doing the programming have no clue
Yep.
what you're up against
Yeah.
there. And if they come from a really different world like they would in computer programming, if they've never worked in the trades, that's hugely different.
Yeah.
So they're just not going to get it.
Well,
Necessarily. I mean, they might, but
There-
I don't want to be
I
blanket
think
here.
that
but-
there's people that are directional like that, and both of your guests were.
Yeah,
They saw a need and they solved the need. But like they say, what is it? Necessity is the mother of invention,
It is.
and that's exactly
Is
what
that
they
from
did.
your quote book?
It
too?
is.
You're pulling these out
Well,
way too easily.
Well, yeah, no, it was when I would teach in the fire department, I would tell the guys, I said, I get Poor Richard's Almanac and the Bible confused because of the quotes, and I would throw a quote out there and go, Poor Richard's Almanac, and my son would be going, No, Dad, that was the Bible.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, we always enjoy having you on, Doug.
thank you.
And I want to make sure that I know we've got some segments we want to build here together for first responders. And
You know what? I followed up on that, and I've been working back and forth with the Washoe County Sheriff's Department to do a ride along.
Oh.
Well, they're clear booked up until middle of July.
Oh,
and
wow.
They keep pushing me off, so I will push with that. And I do
Good.
want to get one with Nevada Highway Patrol, and I haven't tried that yet. So
Okay.
there's two things.
Great.
And the other one was, I don't think I need to do a ride along with Reno Fire Department.
You don't think so, huh?
No. Well, yeah, that was really kind of conceited or condescending. I don't mean that to be. I'm sure that there's probably a lot of differences in department.
Right.
And, you know.
But you already have quite a few years of experience. in
Yeah,
that.
and I think I know what their job is. Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Well, yeah, but you're going to come back and you're going to share a little bit from each of the departments.
I am.
And then if we can, we're going to find some guests that are willing to come on. And
Yes, matter of fact, I have one, and I've talked to him. He's an attorney, and he's going to go into the legal aspects of what first responders go through, and
That would be very
and
interesting.
civilians.
Yes.
You know, are they protected if they see somebody's injured and they render aid? Can they be sued? So that ought to be an interesting.
That'll be
yeah.
very interesting.
So, yeah.
You'll have to let me know when we can get him
Sure.
on here.
Yeah.
We'd love
Well,
to have him.
it's he's busy. Well, he was the
Yeah.
guy I was telling you about, another Type A personality.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I know how that goes.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's great. Well, I do want to mention, I was going to mention this last week and I forgot because this act passed last week. It's the Mission Act. The veterans are now, they did pass it. I might have actually mentioned that the bill passed, but they have now put it into action. And according to military.com, Congress expanded the VA caregiver plan along with streamlining the non-VA care with this act. I wasn't totally aware that they are adding caregivers into that kind of coverage. They've been covering, I believe it's, I don't want to say this wrong, prior to 9/11, anyone that, no, after 9/11 is who the caregivers were being covered. And the problem with all of these things, including the streamlined non-VA care, is the implementation and how long it takes to make this happen. Because, of course, they say on such and such a day it's effective. So I said, well, I can't imagine. They just passed the bill. How can they already be ready? Right? So if John needed to go and wanted to go outside of the VA, what do we do? So I went on and I typed in and looked and to see just where are they going to send him. Well, everything I saw didn't look real like they were really ready. So I imagine what you have to do is contact the VA directly in whatever city you're in, and they'll guide you to how that works. And you have to check your eligibility. There are a lot of things. And as far as the caregiver plan goes, from what this Military Advantage is saying on here, that's going to be kind of a slow rollout as well. It'll be, not only is it hard for the fact that the bill just got passed, now all these people have to implement this stuff, and generally the legislators kind of don't really think about the facts of how long it might take for all the administrative folks to be able to put this together. And I'm not giving anybody an excuse, but man, if you want it right, you need to give them time. So, and again, do the veterans have time? Do the caregivers? I mean, I live on both sides of this. No, you don't. You still need it, but there has to be some coordination and some sensible guidelines in order for everybody to do it right. That's
I have
the
a
difference.
slogan that covers this.
Oh, do you have a quote?
Yep. But it can't go out over the air.
Okay. All right, very good. I'm glad you didn't put it out there. But what I do want to say is I'm bringing it up. I want to make everybody aware. Check it out. If you need that kind of help, push hard. The law has been passed. It's there. If you really need it now, push, because somebody will help somewhere along the line. Service officers are out there. Ask them for help. Many of them are excellent at what they do, and many of them know how to work through the system. Maybe maybe you've been doing this for a long time yourself and you know how to work through the system. Then get in there and do it. If you need this, get it. Yeah. Because I know I would. If John needed that kind of help right now and I couldn't wait, I'd be dogging him.
Yeah.
I'd be saying, let's do it right now. Come on. This law is passed. We got to do this. So, you do have to push, and it's unfortunate because you're kind of shooting the messengers. The people that are there are not the ones who pass the law. They aren't the ones that can probably do a lot, but they can usually get you to the right people. So that's where you dog them. Don't hurt them, just dog them a little. Yeah. Right? I don't know. What do you say to that? It's hard because...
Well, the irony of it is that like with so many issues, you work with very, very good people.
Yes.
And unfortunately, they do one of two things. They say, well, my hands are tied with this, or, oh, so-and-so takes care of that.
Right.
And then you get into this
Right.
litany of people that you
Right.
get transferred. And that's no help.
No,
But they're
no,
all
and
good
that's
people.
why they are. They
you
are,
know.
and that's why I'm saying it this way, because I have been through it. I do know what it's like to have to deal with that. But if you really need it, you gotta push hard, and you gotta get what you need for your loved one and
Yeah.
make that happen, or yourself, if it's
Yeah.
yourself. We are coming up on the end here, and we do get cut off, so I want to make sure that everybody knows next week we have Bruce Marin of Bruce Marin Celebrity Speakers, celebrating 46 years of providing quality speakers. So he will be with us on the phone. He's in Las Vegas, so he won't be here. However, tomorrow at 3, join me when I co-host On a Pinch of Basil with Basil the Comedian. And he's going to be right here in the studio, so I don't get to stand here. I have to stand on the other side over there. Oh, you're going to let me stay here? Oh, how about that? I get to keep my spot. All right. If you've not been to one of his shows, now's your chance. He will be here in Reno at the Laugh Factory, and that's we want to make sure that you join him there.
Yes, and that is the 18th, tomorrow through Sunday.
Yes.
The 29th.
Absolutely.
Or excuse me, the 19th.
Each night, right?
Each night.
Each night.
2 shows on Friday.
Oh,
And the reason I want him right there is so his back's to me, so I can make fun of him behind his back and he'd not know it. That's why.
I was wondering how I got the host chair when I'm the co-host. He's going to love that. All right. Well, thank you for being with us on What's the Story. Thank you, Doug, again.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll be back next week, and I'll be here tomorrow with Basil. We'll be beating him up.